like contest. It's a wash.
Yep.
They just didn't execute on what their comp did well.
Well, we'll see whether they can turn around for this one as Champ Select has now begun. Caitlin and Swain taken away from IMA as it is going to be Rise Vladimir this time for Saint. They've switched around. No massive top lane focus this time for Saint, just because, I mean, Amazing J was still able to find a champion he was pretty comfortable on this time around. See how things change.
Yeah, see where they do go towards banning away Aurelia, or at least if they don't, picking a favorable matchup. Remember that the Malphite was picked pretty much into the Aurelia.
No, definitely into the Aurelia, I believe. As Rek'Sai is the next ban. And Voidless not actually wanting to first pick that one away. I believe they've got a different idea for the first pick.
The Elise game looked good.
Yeah, it did. See whether they put some, I guess, priority on the Karma here as well, just because that flex is pretty powerful. And there it is. Saint are going to remove it from the board. So quite a few things left up. In fact, the whole jungle pool, everything like that. Hasn't been seeing as many bans. But none of those big, massive, very difficult to deal with champions like the Swain, the Vladimir, and the Rise.
Yeah, Swain's actually fallen a little bit out of favor at the moment, just because he does have very clear power spikes to play around in, and you know people have figured picking up an early executioner's calling makes him not nearly as powerful as he was.
Yep. As you can see, Saint thinking about picking up some pretty similar champions here. Acorn looking at the Poppy would be interesting, but we'll see exactly what they settle on. So far just cycling through, but might be that they've recognized the fact that they didn't necessarily play out their comp as they should have. Might just go back to something relatively similar.
Yeah, no, honestly wouldn't surprise me, because they don't know whether they would have won that game if they executed correctly, because they just didn't play it that way. I think that they can't go towards Malphite just because there is a Trundle on Summoner's Rift and you're going to make him unkillable.
Yeah.
But something very similar, like change Hecarim for Malphite, or, you know, put a Jax in there instead, and you have a very similar vein of the comp.
Well, so far, two champions that we did see in the hands of Saint last time around in Kindred and the Azir. Two very powerful picks in their own right.
And the other thing about the Saint composition was, like, it wasn't individual performances that were bad. So I think they can all pick their champions again. You know, maybe ward out top lane a little bit more so Acorn doesn't get as camped. But everyone had individually okay performances throughout the early mid stage of the game. It was when they started to group up that things just didn't go their way.
Well, you can see Athena, a bit of a shout out there possibly to Acorn as he's hovering the Hecarim for now. A Voidless could hop over to it. We have seen it so far. Would be exciting. Would be a pick away from Acorn as well. I would like it.
Yeah, jungles incredibly quickly. With Cinderhulk, as we said, very good tank user, and if you ever get the Luxury Trinity Force, you do a heck of a lot of damage. Also with immobile 80 carries, Hecarim it should shoot up in priority.
Well, we'll see whether they lock it in. Here it is. Switched over to the Elise at the last second. Thank you very much for that. IMA, as Voidless did have a good first game, and Bard locked in once again for Road. Power pick for him. We'll see whether it's going to diffuse what Saint want to do once again.
And once again, they just have, you know, great 1-4 and great pick. You know, Bard, Elise, they're just going to be able to capture anyone that roams through the jungle trying to cheat towards getting to the Trundle lane. They have even longer range initiation. And then Trundle is just very, very hard to deal with in a one-on-one environment. So
S2YZ really can't make up his mind.
I may just sticking to what they know.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, Trundle will still be able to split push just fine. As Ezreal is going to be taken away. So Jinjiao does have to change up what he wants to do. Hovering the Jin there, possibly just a bit of fun. But I actually really like Ezreal Nami. Mystic shots with the Tide Caller's blessing on it. Pretty cool. Zafina thinking about heading towards a Twisted Fate in the mid lane. And Jin has been locked in.
Yeah, and Twisted Fate Jin, that's a lot of long-range initiation. Once again, adds to the pick potential field. You know, you light up the map, you pick out who you want to go for. Twisted Fate flies in there, Jin's able to take them down. Rusty was talking about the pick potential yesterday between the LeBlanc and the Jhin. I think Twisted Fate and Jhin has a very similar vibe. If Jhin hits, Twisted Fate can go in. If Twisted Fate hits, Jhin can follow up with enough damage to be able to take someone out. And they both have similar CC that, you know, as a two-person tandem, they're able to get it done. But once again, this is a team composition that has really clear ways of being able to take it out. I mean, Tidal Wave across the Jhin or Twisted Fate completely ruins the damage output of this team.
Yeah, or Bubble. Just like, he's going to be standing still if he's curtain calling. And you can just bubble him out of it. Of course, Nami has to be in range for that, so we'll see whether Jijao is going to be able to play around it. Acorn thinking about taking in a Maokai. Could be dangerous, like you mentioned. Don't want to make that Trundle too unkillable. I
think Maokai's fine because Maokai actually, like, he has a defined strength that isn't Trundle's. Trundle's is team fighting. Maokai's is, you know, you go into the backline and you team fight well. So as long as you can wave clear and then make teleport plays across the map when you need to, Maokai Trundle is like whoever executes on their win condition better generally wins that matchup.
Yeah.
Unless you have an amazing Trundle player, someone like Myron yesterday who can team fight with a Trundle. Korra was also very famous for it. And that's difficult to do, you know. You have to be your pillar placement in teamfight needs to be incredible for you to be able to get on top of people like the Azir, like the Ezreal, and be able to actually compete in a 5v5. So Acorn and Amazing J have completely different goals in what they want to accomplish this game.
Yeah, and it's always been sort of their styles as well. I mean, you look at Amazing J, you notice him for his split pushing potential. Acorn has always been a very good team fighting top laner. So, sticking to their strengths here with the champion picks. We'll see whether Amazing J can make things happen if a 5v5 does break out. But now with Athena on Twisted Fate, they've got legitimate 1-3-1 potential as well and can get around that map very effectively.
Yeah, they certainly do. And, you know, they don't necessarily have the best wave clear in mid lane, so 1-3-1 is going to be hard to execute on versus the Siege of Saint. But it is an option, especially if they get ahead the way they did in Game 1.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that if Athena gets ahead, then he will have a heck of amount of wave clear from that Twisted Fate.
If he's in 1-3-1.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The wave clear doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, Dancing Grenade. Jinjiao would have to get really far ahead in order to make that one work.
Yep.
Yeah, don't worry. My brain totally working. But I'm really excited to see Road back on the Bard because his Bard has been fantastic. Voidless had a good game as well. Coaches are going to shake hands, ladies and gentlemen. Ime looking to try and close out the series in game number 2. So we do have a slight pause, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into game number 2 between IMA and Saint, as you can see on your screen.
It's amazing, Jay.
Yeah, making sure that we can get back into this one as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we'll see whether Amazing J is able to get the split push on again. You know, I'm expecting a Voidless to, once again, try and camp out that top lane. They have the layering of CC to be able to chase down a Maokai, especially early. And if they can get that snowball rolling one more time, Maokai can't get towards a wave clear, then it means that, you know, the Trundle's going to be on a rampant path.
Yeah.
So
we'll see whether he can continue having power or whether it is going to be something that Saint can capitalize on. We saw Acorn on our screen just before. He was looking like he was ready to get his, turn his Acorn into a big old tree. We've never done that pun before, I assure you. Jinjiao took a little bit of damage from S2IZ as Him and Shu are actually looking to try and stop this.
Yeah, actually invading in deep in last game.
Oh, really nice stun there onto Shu. Already down to about half health as Road is making bank off his Spell Thieves.
Shu face checks more than any support I know when he has a trinket available. Just wandered into a brush one more time. This time around, it doesn't really cost them all that much, but it's just one of those habits you have to keep an eye on.
As you can see, it actually is going to be a lane swap initiated here by Saint, as they're going to send S2YZ and Shu towards the top side.
And that makes sense, right? In a standard lane format, you would expect Acorn to get camped out, punished a little bit. However, if you get him towards 1100 gold, towards a Barmy Cinder, unchallenged, it means that they will be able to survive at least the laning phase. You can see it. Duo coming in to try and mess with the jungle. Walkover reward, though.
Yeah, Amazing J already hanging out with a Voidless, though. They understand that this is probably going to happen. And the Wolf Spirit is going to get smited away, so everyone has been noticed. No Sentinel's going to be taken here from the Ezreal, as Shu is just trying to be frustrating.
And once again, the Jhin and the Bard, they pick up one of the little ones for their camp and then go and harass. So a slight experience lead for the Bard. March needs to be careful here because Road does a little bit of damage.
Yeah, actually does get pressured away, but gets a bit more money for his Spell Thieves, which is definitely good news.
And they're going all three camps here against Bard, who's like arguably the strongest level 1 champion in the game. This is greedy from the Saint lineup, but they don't really get punished for it.
Yeah, didn't actually find the stun on the Cosmic Binding.
So they get 3 camps versus 1 camp, which is huge.
Oh, actually, I think Road managed to get one of them. So he's got 1 CS.
Yeah, but so he got 1 mini one. But when you have a look at actually where the double jungle is and what camps are available right now to avoid this, he has nothing.
Yeah, good point. Well, Athena actually taking the brunt of the Azir harassment here in the mid lane. Actually able to shove up very effectively, though. And Snoopy now has to deal with a huge minion wave. Back comes in from Athena, so just making sure that he can stay ahead in this lane. Yeah, it doesn't want to get ganked overextended. It's something that we've seen Maokai's do, you know, cheat towards the mid lane. That's about the 3rd wave that they've waited for here. So IMA has a huge stack currently on the turret. Saint haven't really pushed theirs in yet, so we're going to be pretty far behind. Lots of damage coming out here as Cast Creep's still doing a whole bunch of work here to this turret. Next wave, auxiliary wave coming in. You can see now Saint just starting with this one. But of course you have to remember that Ezreal probably going to get it done a little bit quicker than Jhin. He does crit turrets, but he auto attacks pretty slowly. Amazing J going to also struggle to nearly get it done on this wave. In fact, I'm going to say nearly won't. He's smacking into it now as the Ocean Drake has been started. Turret does fall down. Amazing J able to do it without actually losing any of his health bar as well, which is handy. And it's going to take 1 additional wave for Saint to be able to clear out there. So it's going to be a dragon kicked off here for IMA. Sacrifice some of that tempo, but pick themselves up an Ocean Drake nice and early into this game. And they may almost still have that tempo advantage, even with this dragon picked up. As this tower is only just falling down. Amazing J still reaping all of the rewards here. So Amazing J will get a little bit more CS, you're right, but as you can see, backs have only just gone through for both teams, so tempo completely back to neutral. And because Maokai can AoE clear, as soon as he sees anyone on that ward in the middle of the lane, he's going to be able to shove much harder than a Trundle will. And you can see he's actually gone early. He started to shove already. And it's being matched by Amazing J, but definitely not ahead at all. Well, definitely good news here for Saints so far. Bottom lane is going to make it up there. I'm going to try and challenge Acorn. And of course, Acorn probably going to lead the lane. Can't 1v2. Amazing J has noticed the Ezreal and is now going to back off as well. So only 5 creeps ahead out of that lane swap. But Ocean Drake is going to be pretty handy for this team. And you can see exactly where the Jhin's starting from versus the Ezreal. And actually looks like he's freezing a little bit, which is a weird decision. Holding onto the wave. Well, let's see how it does work. Athena struggling here against Snoopy for the moment. Still has teleport, of course. Extra Doran's ring there at the same time as Saint now clearing out vision. That is a lot of pink wards. I have a feeling they'll have vision of that brush for the next little while. Yeah, it certainly will. And you can see both teams starting up the push on the second wave now. Huge creep score advantage for STYZ. Teleport burn into the mid lane. And it's what the teams really do after this.
they'll swap back most likely. Both of them have quite big waves pushed up.
Yep.
And we'll see whether they try and once again trade for tier 2s. Because Trundle will still have the advantage at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and that frozen domain that he's just put down right now, it's a lot of extra attack speed. And despite the fact that Jin doesn't necessarily take down turrets all that effectively, they have once again made it there a little bit faster.
And they've joined it with their jungler one more time, which is why they won out in speed first time around. So maybe this time around, I may just push through on this turret because the creep wave is still huge and they're not peeling off.
Yeah, and in fact, Saint unable to really grab
they're
this
picking
turret
out the defense
either.
of that turret.
Everyone backing, so March going to try and make something happen there in the mid lane, but 6 has already been gained from Athena. They could actually 5-man.
They left Acorn there anyway, and now all of a sudden they're teleporting back to Trundle. Heads up play out of IMA overall because the wave's still going to crash. There's no freeze that's going to be accomplished here for Saint. And they get the big creep wave onto their Trundle.
That is huge. And Road just going to casually wander out, as a bard generally does. There's a lot of swagger in that walk, and he deserves it this time.
So even though they got tempo back, I mean, they both recalled at the exact same time. It's still IMA that walks away with a huge advantage because on the swap back, they don't pick up a turret, and they give so much experience in gold. I mean, it's 28 CS to 12 for the Trundle. And, you know, the CS discrepancy is mirrored here for the Ezreal. But at the end of the day, it's still, like... We already said it. IMA has a very clear win condition, which is get Amazing J ahead and split push, and Saint kind of played into that.
Yeah, that's precisely what they want to be doing. March has started off this blue buff, wants to give it over to Snoopy. Pings it out. And the Azir is going to head over, but that wave is going to crash, so Athena denying some CS on his way forward. Early Negatron cloak here for Snoopy as well, wants to keep himself safe against the poke that Athena has.
It's more the jungle mid pressure. I mean... pretty much removes all kill potential out of Elise and Twisted Fate by going Negatron Cloak. That's Twisted Fate ulti coming out onto Shu, who's level 3.
Yeah, straight into a bubble, but it doesn't really matter. As Shu wildcard is going to pick it up, and first blood goes to Athena. I am feeling fantastic about how this early game is going.
And we already spoke about the combo, the long-range initiation that can come out of both Jin Jiao and Athena means that they can catch people from a long way away. And as soon as any damage came out, you saw that there was not really all that much Nami can do. So she'll be a sitting duck for the rest of the game as well.
Yeah. Deadly Flourish comes out here from Jin Jiao, who can't really fight STYZ for the moment. Sheen already built up. Serrated Dirk is there, but that's a 35 CS
insult
lead.
to injury if they're able to pull this off. Thought they were actually looking to Magical Journey through the turret, but Shu does get there in time, which means Acorn will be able to slowly start picking up some of the experience and gold that he's been missing out on.
Yeah, Jin Jiao as well, able to bounce himself a grenade over the top of STYZ. It's a decent snare to come in as STYZ takes a lot of his health bar. But that is getting to a massive CS deficit in favor of STYZ. That's the one good news story here for Saint.
Yeah, but we'll see what Jin Jiao does with the wave. I mean, you can hold it there if you're Jin. You've already got first dragon. You don't really need to fight for the second one. This is heads-up play out of STYZ. And they give it to him.
Yeah, well, he did all the work.
Yeah, certainly deserved it. I'm not questioning that.
Voidless only with the Hunter's Potion right now against the recurve Bow of March. So if the Elise was ever to find this Kindred in the jungle, probably wouldn't be a good idea. As Jin Jiao just going to eat a lot of damage from the creep wave.
Yeah, and all of a sudden they're invading now on this side of the map, so they need to be careful.
Yeah, really nice bubble, but look at that Cosmic Binding. March unable to follow up, Road there to help him.
Yeah, but holding the wave there is so dangerous, especially because Jin Jiao can't run through it. And if you do lose a team fight at that stage, all of the hard work you've done to freeze up that lane is now gone. So good decision from IMA to back away from that, not really try and engage in anything as much. Oh, I don't know if Snoopy would be happy with that, mate.
Not a good move, but
dances through, picks up 3 CS for himself.
Next dragon is going to be up in 4 seconds, so it's an Infernal Drake, and Saint well and truly in position to take this one. IMA are moving over, but this is going to fall very quickly. This is a Kindred.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do. As I said, like at this stage of the game, Maokai way more useful than Trundle in every situation. They've already gone back and shopped on their Ezreal, who was 40 CS up, so there's not really much you can do, which is why the freeze was such a good idea out of Jin Jiao to try and catch up at all. See if they can defend this turret.
Yeah, finally this one is going to get taken down. Jinjiao and Road going to try and do their best to stop it. And it looks like they're going to be successful. Captive audience down there as STYZ avoids the damage. Jinjiao still relatively far behind.
Yeah, respecting the double teleport and the fact that they didn't know where the Elise was. They don't have deep vision on that side of the map, so they can't really look to make a play on the turret. You know, Snoopy can't follow if Athena cheats down there. They already had their teleport on that side of the map in Acorn. So even though it looked like a 3v2, potential 4v3 was immediately on the cards. And Acorn's not going to love this.
No, that is going to be the Rift Herald taken here from Ame. Looks like no contest is going to come in. And Amazing J going to be well and truly set up for this split push.
And you can see that Amazing J immediately just pings assistance in the top lane because he understands that's frozen. So the Spider's going to have to head up there one more time. Acorn's really good at manipulating waves. That's what he was actually responsible for on Samsung Blue. Implementing that 6th man that they were very well known for.
Yeah.
But he also understands when he has to trim because otherwise he's in danger of being dove. So once again, quite a smart player. Hasn't really got the team fight phase going yet for Saint, but
it's part of the reason why it was so important for LGD as well. As the ultimate going to be used, March looking to try and take down Jinjiao, though so much damage here towards his bottom side, but the heal is very powerful, and oh my god, March just saves himself with the Lamb's Respite, but there's a Tempered Fate, doesn't get the heal. Now Amazing J is going to be able to easily pick up that kill. Somehow Jinjiao's still alive, as Twisted Fate's going to make his way in, picks it up with a blue card to add insult to injury, and that's another deadly flourish. Jinjiao, this Jin, despite the fact that he's had trouble in the laning phase, looked fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly did. And now all of a sudden, Snoopy having a shot at a Voidless, but he's just going to be able to wander out. And a huge advantage one more time goes across to IMA because Saint just don't respect the map itself. They don't respect the double teleport. Acorn cancels his out. And IMA just get another huge gold lead.
Yeah, Snoopy as well, almost bullied out of the way here as Road takes a gigantic magical journey. That was beautiful to watch. And Acorn is going to find the Bard in the river. Athena.
I don't actually know what Acorn's really doing now. Because he's going to miss out on all of that creep wave in the top lane. I want to have a look at it, but it looks like there's more red dots on his side of the lane, so it means it's going to push.
Well, right now you can see he is making his way back towards the top side, but you're right, might have lost his opportunity.
Went for a big old roam.
March of the Ents. Voidless wants to take down his red buff, will do so quite easily. Jinjiao, we'll see whether he gets given it. Nope, not this time.
But 4 assists now. He was 40 CS down with the 4 CS. Pretty much ahead in gold.
Yeah. And does have his first big item spike as well in the Ghost Blade. Of course, the attack speed giving him extra damage when you pop the active, which is pretty handy.
It's also the movement speed. I mean, I'm a huge fan of movement speed on Jhin just because you have to be able to weave in and out of team fights because of how your whole kit is designed. So anything that really does give him that movement speed, especially when he needs it, is incredibly important. I mean, it was SMLZ that really popularized the double Zeal items.
Yeah. As Road actually looking to try and grab STYZ. It's a nice bubble at the end of the journey. Stops that gank from happening, but gives Jinjiao even more room here in this lane.
And he wasn't shoving the lane. I mean, the lane's still shoving into him, so means that it's going to be very hard for STYZ to get anything done here.
Oh my god, Athena takes the blue. That was very
Amazing J wants to fight them as well. Road's here.
Yeah, they're heading into the Baron Pit here as Athena is looking for a gold card. Locks it in there as Acorn might be in trouble. Has to flash, but the flash comes after him. Immediate cleanse as Acorn now caught by the Tempered Fate. Road makes his way through as, Amazing J doesn't quite get the flash, but of course that thing doesn't last very long anymore.
Yeah, it's only 3 seconds. You didn't even need to flash Amazing J. So, you know, even though he wastes a summoner spell, still gets it. And Athena, meanwhile, had teleported back to mid lane. That was... What?
It's like a 20-meter teleport. Oh, okay, Destiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, able to put some pressure on the turret.
Yeah, Voidless going to be able to help him out as well as Curtain Call comes in the bottom lane. Shu tanking up for the minion wave.
That Shu.
As the Deadly Flourish comes in. So they do manage to get something on the other side of the map. However, Amazing J grabs the inner turret on the top side and the outer turret falls in the mid lane.
It's already 5,000 gold for IMA, and Amazing J has been pretty much a huge recipient of all of that.
Yeah.
30 CS up, 3 kills. I don't really know if there's much Acorn can do. As I said, the goal is Maokai is kind of to stay even and then do a different job better. But this stage of the game, I don't know if you can really do that job. It's like, you know, Amazing J got given his tools. One's a builder, one's a plumber.
Yep.
So Amazing J got given a hammer, like a cool drill, some nails. Acorn got given a pair of kitchen gloves and a dirty toilet.
Or at least just the dirty toilet. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to figure out a way to make it work just yet. But we'll see. He's a good plumber, he's Acorn.
Well, he was this season. You know, maybe he's like Mario, should have retired a while ago.
It's getting deep. The Voidless going to help clear out this wave. Athena now moving towards the Dragon. The next Infernal Drake is up. And I may probably don't want to give away a second to Saint as Voidless takes a fair bit of damage. And that trap is not going to fall. Another pink ward goes down, and therefore it will.
And you know, this might actually be the last win condition left for Saint, the Infernal Dragon, so they probably need to fight for it, to be honest. Would be even better if they can get in there before Trundle's had a chance to really go back and shop.
Well, teleports are available from both top laners. Ping's out onto Amazing J right now as he's flanking around. There's going to be the Rift Scuttler falling down. Wildcard's flying through, but Aimee staying very safe at the moment.
Yeah, and I think not starting off the Dragon is actually a win here because they're able to pick up farm in all of the lanes. And there's really not much Saint can do but stay around in the area because as soon as they go to catch one of the big waves, they're going to just start the Dragon instantly. So really rocking a hard place now.
Exactly right, and exactly like you said, STYZ picks up that wave towards the bottom side, and this Infernal Drake already started. And it's getting taken down solo there. Thanks for helping, Athena, as he throws a wild card in, and they easily grab their first Infernal Drake of the game. You see Amazing J back up towards the top side. Acorn getting this wave shoved into him. Not going to be able to help the rest of his team. It's going from bad to worse at the moment for Saint. It's feeling quite reminiscent of last game.
It certainly is, but this time Saint have an even more difficult... big wave.
Yep. Harder wave going to come in, a Voidless. Unfortunately, sort of like got out of one bit and then went to the next one.
So that was just to protect a blue. You know, that's a huge ultimate down now for Shu. Not going to be able to keep himself safe. And now this time the win condition is even simpler for Aimee. I mean, last time it was about not falling behind, augmenting the split push. This time it's just about generating picks.
Well, Athena, unfortunately, not going to be able to find too much here as the gold card flies forward. There's a deadly flourish. Oh my god, the explosion! I thought he was far enough away as... There's another teleport.
Huh.
Oh my god, the Tempered Fate.
He'd already cancelled as well. He wanted absolutely nothing to do with it, so...
It looked like Tempered Fate is able to cancel teleports on wards, which would be hilarious.
It slows it, though. You don't come out until after the Tempered Fate.
Well, Amazing J now. March and Acorn just getting rid of him from the jungle, but the inner turret on the bottom side of the map is going to fall down. Aimee just with too much pressure around this one. You could see Snoopy was trying to push up the mid lane, but it is going to be Athena making his way back. Didn't even have to teleport in. Could have if he had run into trouble. And that's 30% CDR already for the Twisted Fate, 3-0-2.
And in a 1-3-1 split push, this is the exact turrets that you want to take down. Now Amazing J doing battle 1v2. Yeah, 1v2.
Looks like he didn't even really care that March was there as well, as the teleport was cancelled. But Snoopy's going to get gold carded. It's a nice cleanse, but it's just not enough as Ro just meep slaps him to the face. Nice sapling and a slow Voidless down, but you can see March waiting in here, and Aimee just looking to continue the picks. There's the flash gold card, but Lancer Spike comes in. March trying to answer this one back. Nice magical journey gets Road to safety.
Once again, big ultimate, however, expended. You know, they keep the tree alive, but they're just bleeding team-fighting ultimates right now, and there's not really all that much that Saint can do about it. These times they're necessary. But Aimee just got the lead way too early in what is a devastating split-pushing composition. Athena really hasn't even gone to a side wave yet. He's just stuck mid.
Yeah, doesn't really mind about it. He's 3-1 and 3-0 and 3. Able to get around with the Destiny when he needs to. That teleport to help Amazing J there, making sure that Saint couldn't just easily pick up that 2v1 kill.
And you know, now I'm just waiting for them to take the Twisted Fate to the top lane, take the 3-man unit into the mid lane, use the Jhin ultimate, start it up. As soon as they've chunked someone out, Twisted Fate can just ulti in. It's already on 30% cooldown reduction. With the Lich Bane, he's going to shred through turrets.
Oh, yeah. Jin Zhao as well, still doing his job. 0-0 and 5. Seems more like a facilitator right now, though, as he's been setting up all of these kills for his team. The massive range that Jin does offer. It's been really important. And the Deadly Flourishes have been on point.
Yeah, they certainly have. He's able to layer the CC, and he's so incredibly well. That's why the composition just made sense in the first place. Here's another Twisted Fate ulti.
Yeah, Acorn in trouble. Does
really
Twisted
nice.
advance his way out, so it's looking good. But the Cocoon is going to land. Acorn is in so much trouble. Doesn't have Flash. Just going to have to try and walk away, and the Magical Journey's there. Athena grabs it with the wild cards. And Saint desperately trying to shove this mid lane through.
Right call was there. They're going to hard shove mid lane. Looking for the bullets. Won't find any of them. And the collapse is out. They save mid lane, and they get the kill for it.
Yeah, not bad. Zaime now continuing as they destroy this pink ward. S2IZ hit by a wild card. Probably doesn't want that to happen again, as it's doing a lot of damage.
Now they're threatening the dive on the mid lane. Snoopy in trouble.
Oh, Cocoon going to be avoided as he shifts some sands out of the way.
And this is so bizarre that they're able to use what I thought would be a lack of wave clear. But the Jin ulti's just proven to be enough. The threat of the quick rotation has always been there.
Yeah. This turret is going to fall. Snoopy and STYZ caught by the Tempered Fate once again. There's the layering of CC. It just looks like he gets removed from the map rather than killed because he died that quickly.
Yeah, March didn't use the ultimate even to save him, so that gives you an idea about how quickly they're just chunking members out. And honestly, right now, Saint just can't keep up with IMA. It looks like a completely different class of players.
Yeah, IMA as well. I mean, we're talking about the fact that Saint have looked a little bit out of sorts in this series, but you have to hand it to IMA. They have been playing this one very, very well.
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's fair to say that, you know, Saint haven't even picked up a series win yet. They've only won 2 games. IMA definitely have different expectations coming into this best of than what Saint had. You know, this Saint team just needs to continue to work on communication because right now it looks like they're getting picked off all over the map and they're not even saving their teammates with the ultimate. So it's really, really hard, at least in the IMA series, to find positives for this team.
Yeah. Athena as well now has his third big item in the Void Staff completed. This Twisted Fate is gigantic right now. No room for a pink ward if you're looking for a negative. But, I mean, that's probably about as far as you can go.
Coaches everywhere hate it. Doesn't sell the Dorans.
There's a Voidless now going to be able to try and remove this pink ward. Oh, just get your face in there. There it is. That other ward is going to survive, though, as Jinjiao clears this one out. Sun Turret is going to eat up this minion wave. Doesn't have a lot of life left, and 10 seconds on the Dragon. It will be another Infernal. 3 in a row.
And especially given the itemization so far, so much flat penetration. It's almost acting like the big damage items that they didn't pick up because they went for this penetration build on both the Twisted Fate and the Jin. It's just completely augmented by the fact that they now have double Infernal Drakes.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Volcano combo. Now coming out. Oh, yeah, Amazing J. He's unstoppable.
Yeah, and Snoopy's in trouble. Last Bolt not going to find anyone there as Shu is able to walk out of range. But if they're walking out of range, it means they're walking away from the turrets, and they're also walking away from this inhibitor that Amazing J's taking. Just look at the macro call.
STYZ was in top lane, and he's being shadowed by March, whilst the whole base is just being removed. It's just a bizarre series of events.
And here's the potential engage as well, as Acorn's taking a lot of damage. Flashes out of the way as the bubble is going to go completely wide. Athena looking for a gold card target as Snoopy's going to get caught by the Tempered Fate. Times out the gold card, but Snoopy is so dead. Athena's able to lock down that kill, and these Infernal Drakes are doing work as they take down the first inhibitor of the game.
And I may haven't missed a beat. I mean, they've just been unrelenting in Satan, with the exception of, I guess, the Dragon that came across because of the big CS deficit on Jinjiao early. They've just been pretty much willing to execute on their game plan, keep the Trundle in a side lane.
Whoa. Deadly Flare starting to do some damage here as a Voidless. Flashes out of the way of March. It's very, very low.
Trust me, you don't want to be the only person in a game to give away a kill. Everyone will burn summoner spells to avoid that. So good call.
Unfortunately for IMA, they let 2 turrets drop and a Dragon. So perfect game unavailable.
But the introduction of lane swaps kind of killed perfect games. So as far as like perfect games go, like theoretically, IMA has made the right decision or judgment call at every stage of this game. They gave up 2 objectives that they needed to. I mean, they even saved 1 objective for much longer than they probably had any right to. And the dragon that they gave up was 100% the correct dragon. They weren't ready to fight that. And much in the same way that Saint should have given up an Infernal Dragon last game and seen if they could get some a little bit later, IMA should have given up the Infernal Dragon that they did, and they came back and got 2 in response.
Certainly did. I mean, that comes down to a little bit of luck, but definitely exactly what they needed to do, regardless of what those dragons were. Damn right you do, Spawn.
RNGesus, 2016.
We saw that team. If they do that, then it must definitely be the right thing to do, as they're winning a lot. Avoidless almost had his Guardian Angel completed. And there's the Tempered Fate. Doesn't find anyone, but Snoopy has to move out of the way. My god, Athena half healths him with just 1 combo. He's still moving over here. The Lance Respite is going to wear off as STYZ takes a stray wildcard. Road now caught out of position potentially. That is going to be the first pick, but Acorn is going to die for it. Amazing J picks up that kill as the curtain call flies through. Not going to be able to find March. In fact, doesn't find anyone. As Jinjiao is just going to continue pushing up the mid lane. This inhibitor is going to fall as Athena's got so much damage with that Lich Bane.
Yeah, they chase 2 people so far away, and then everyone else just walks a creep wave up mid, so we'll be able to go back, potentially look at the Baron. Road, unfortunately, does give away the kill. So I will officially remove my perfect game status away.
Yep.
Going to say that was not needed.
Jinjiao probably happy he didn't get a kill, because currently sitting at James Bond status.
Now he has his license to kill Atlas.
Oh, okay. So thankfully he can now get it. His teleport's coming in. Amazing J and Athena actually going to join this fight right now. Shu just going to get killed by Athena off the back end.
You could sell Athena was like, is there anyone else around to gold card? Because I know this guy's dead.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want to waste it, but he threw it anyway.
And then he's like, but I want the kill. He's 7-0-4 now, feeling very, very good on this Twisted Fate. And this Baron is not long for the world. Road just playing gatekeeper, stopping Saint from making any way in, but they don't want to anyway. And it's going to be Amazing J that locks that one down. Still so far ahead. His 3 items are complete, the ones that he wants. Destiny comes down once again, and March, he's going to get gold carded to the head. That was still cycling, actually. Beautiful TF play.
Yeah, it certainly was. You know, even with the Hex Drinker, that disappears. March nearly gets 1 comboed. Just pushes them away one more time. Still didn't have the ulti available. Athena wanted to protect what he now sees as his blue buff. The rest of his team just wants to end the game.
Yeah, well, this top inhibitor is the next one in the list of IMA objectives to take. The Baron buff will help them. Amazing J probably happy to tank this as STYZ gets stunned up. There's the Deadly Flourish, and Jinjiao just destroys him. Tidal Wave flying through as the Tempered Fate is going to once again catch Snoopy. And you can see, oh my god, Jinjiao just setting up like fish in a barrel. And that inhibitor is going to die. That is 3 dead. And the Nexus is going to be the next focus. Snoopy and STYZ, they're the carries. They're dead. And Saint just have to watch their structures get demolished. The flashes forward. March does have the ultimate. Looked like he was going to die through it because they had so much damage potential. And IMA with a very convincing series.
Yeah, that was decisive. They're able to get a much better iteration of a lane swap down, even with a Jhin. Yeah. Obviously had very good understanding of how that was going to work. They pick up the Dragon on first rotation. They pick up an extra turret on the second rotation and save their own. And through that, they just set up what was a very decisive split push win condition and generated the picks we said they needed to.
Yeah, and the Twisted Fate worked out fantastically. Athena hadn't played that one just yet, but of course most mid laners do know how to play that. And of course, if you're sitting behind Pawn, you're probably going to learn a thing or two about playing Twisted Fate, as he was subbing in for EDG for quite some time. But they are going to take a bow. IMA with... And this is interesting to say, but probably our most convincing win of the night, when RNG versus IG was the match beforehand.
Yeah, I still think RNG, IG were like they're toss-ups, right? They both completely dominated their opponents in the end, and I think that you know, Saint going to be much more disappointed than IG. Although IG with the roster swap probably thought that they could get a little bit more out of Kitties and Rain than what they did in game number 2, but Saint. Game 1, they get standard lanes, pick a press R team fighting comp, can't execute on it. They pick a lane swap comp in game number 2, which should have been able to lane swap a little bit quicker, can't execute on it. So that's 0 for 2 for Saint. And, you know, back to the drawing board, another week where they need to give their team more time and continue to iron out these kinks, but it's not looking any better.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing. And look, this is a Saint roster that was looking like they'd found some sort of stability as well on this team comp. I mean, now more often than not using the current roster. Of course, STYZ actually showing a bit of promise in game number 2, but it's just still not necessarily working. As we are going to have a look at the results from today. Newbie come out ahead against Vici Gaming in a surprise victory, honestly, as Dade's Yasuo came out in game number 1, but a 2-0 in the end after some pretty long games. But that's where the long games end, as RNG took down Invictus Gaming pretty considerably.
Yeah, they certainly did. RNG back in very good form after a disappointing lot versus EDG. And then I guess IMA continuing the trend of quick games, take out Saint. And you got to remember, Saint actually took a game off Newbie, probably should have taken a series off Newbie.
Yeah.
Newbie were down about 7,000 gold in game number 1. So I think that this is a roster that, you know, they hoped for more out of today.
They most certainly did. And of course, IMA probably looking to fight back because, of course, they are coming off back-to-back losses. WE, Vici, and RNG all taking them down. It was 2-1 victories for Vici and WE against IMA, so still showing some promise. But we are going to have a look at the standings from Group A, as you can see on your screen. EDG streaming ahead as Game Talents, after yesterday's win, are able to continue that second-place spot.
And, you know, good luck catching them because EDG still looked very good versus RNG, especially in Game 1.
Yeah. And Group B, RNG still at the top. You can see that one loss, EDG, handed to them. WE, IMA, Vici, LGD, and OMG. All of these teams actually finding a little bit more now in the cross-conference, which is good to know, especially for OMG and LGD. And tomorrow, of course, only 2 best-of-3 series. So GT are going to take on LGD, and then WE versus Snake will follow that one as well. And these are going to be really interesting games, honestly. GT versus LGD excites me.
Yeah, it certainly does, because both of them are kind of like... I said this about WE. WE take the game late, and if that worries you against anyone, it should be LGD, because if you give them, like, if you give Imp and Myron 6 items, they're probably going to beat you in a game. And the GT is starting to have a little bit of the same problem, Game Talents. They versus WE played a similar style, I'm going to say, Atlas, and that just should worry you if you're going up against Imp and Myron.
Yeah, most certainly should. And look, LGD have gone back to their roots. They've gone back to, okay, we're losing this game. Well, let's try and fight them all the time and make them win.
Well,
like, make them beat us.
Last week they were. This week I actually think they played quite controlled. I'm going to say that they went a little bit more towards how they were looking good at the end of last year.
Just crazy. Very exciting stuff for LGD, but we are going to go back to our original series.
He died!
Road, the only man that died, the one that filled up all of his statistic slots in his kill deaths and assists, is going to be Road. But this guy set up a heck of a lot of stuff. He played incredibly well.
He played well. I'm going to say the TF was better. But how do you give it to the only member that died? That's outrageous.
He's very upset.
I'm honestly shocked.
I think that he played well. I quite liked what Road was doing.
I hate to break it to you, when you win a game by 14,000 gold at 28 minutes, everyone on the damn map played well, but he died.
The only one to make a mistake, and therefore he gets the MVP. That's how that one works, ladies and gentlemen. But going back to what we're going to see tomorrow, I just want to get your thoughts, because you're not going to be on the desk, unfortunately. So GT versus LGD, back again. And I had a point before, but then we had an MVP that came down.
I can't remember. I was talking about really how decisive play out of LGD. They had gone a little bit less scrappy and a little bit more to clear communication, which is interesting. And I think it revolves around Punish playing better League of Legends. You know, when you actually have a linchpin in the middle of the map that everyone can rotate around and access, it's much easier to play than when he was playing poorly. So I really do think that helps him, because Punish wasn't getting camped and losing lane, and that meant that they could either camp out Imp or camp out Myron. If Punish wins lane, that's no longer the case. You have to make a choice of who you target out on this LGD side.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And what I was going to talk about was the fact that Game Talents had this incredibly good start, whereas LGD had this extraordinarily bad start. However, Game Talents have been faltering a little bit despite their most recent victory, and LGD have found 2 victories in a row. This is a team that's looking a whole lot better. So as far as momentum is concerned, if you have a look on paper, Game Talents looking a lot better. LGD, however, moving into this next game, are actually going to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, they certainly should be feeling good. I don't think LGD should. If you go into a game with 2 world champions, you should always feel fantastic about the game. That's what happens on Summoner's Rift that is a little bit concerning for LGD. But you're right, they're a team that gets better as the season goes on. And historically, spring has been a very slow start and summer's been a little bit quicker. So hopefully they get their backside into gear for this next best of 3.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. And of course, the cross-conference has been very, very interesting as far as getting these sort of free points are concerned. Do you still think about it as sort of free points that you get in these cross-conferences within your own group? Because, of course, you get placed in the playoffs based on your group points, not necessarily what you get against the other group.
Yeah, exactly right. I like the 3 points idea is like kind of cool because it doesn't impact your standings. I don't really think anything in life is free. However, we're seeing right now that the top of Group A can go with Group B, but Group B keeps edging out their counterparts. So I'm just interested to watch the clash in style. You know, a very cerebral group in Group B versus what I think is a pretty brute force-ish group in Group A. And right now, the cerebral people are coming out. Apart from the fact that EDG were able to get what was a pretty brute force victory over RNG in the end.
They most certainly were. But if there's a team that's good at it, it is most definitely them. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it from us tonight, of course. Tomorrow, we are going to have more LPL action with only 2 of our best of 3s. But on behalf of myself, Spawn, of course, Rusty and Fish earlier on in our whole production team, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.